Hey YouTubers, this is going to be my Arrow episode 18 video. They totally did the thing. There's all kinds of stuff we need to talk about. I'll explain the character's death and what's going to be happening going forward. There's a lot more happening than you might know about. Even if you completely disagree with the choice the producers made, at least they didn't do the Walking Dead thing and completely yank our chain going into season 5. They dealt with it in this episode, so now the other characters that are left can react to it and move forward, or backwards, depending on how you think about it. The promo for next week's episode does make it look like Diggle goes backwards just a little bit. But just to be clear, before I do top 5 WTF, Earth 1 Black Canary is dead. She's not coming back in the future of the show, but she will be seen again during flashbacks later this season. So before the end of season 4, we'll see an earlier version of our Black Canary, and then we'll also see Katie Cassidy as another version of the Black Canary on the Flash from Earth 2. I'm doing a Flash bonus video tomorrow. I'll explain what's going on with Earth 2 Laurel Lance. She's a different metahuman version of Black Canary, so she'll be a lot closer to comic book Canary, and the producers did explain that Sarah will learn about the death on Legends of Tomorrow in a future episode, and they'll deal with her reaction on that show. So top 5 WTF, starting with number 5, Oliver learns that 40% of the voters wrote him onto the mayoral ballot. So if something were to ever happen to Ruve Adams, Damien Dark's wife, there's at least 40% of the voters that would be totally cool if he took over. So just put a pin in that for later. Mayor Oliver Queen, I think, is going to be part of the season 5 plot, depending on where they go with it at the end of this season. But she's effectively mayor now. That's how she's able to take the current DA, put him in her cabinet, then offer the job to Laurel. But number 4 WTF, Andy seemingly comes clean about Merlin's involvement in how he's tied up with Hive still. Based on the scene with Merlin last week and the way he was acting in this episode, it was pretty clear that he was a double agent. Diggle was just drinking all the Kool-Aid. They take down the arms too easily. Oliver very much in the right to not trust Andy. But there's actually some really great stunts. Merlin versus Thea. Laurel, for obvious reasons, gets one of the best fight scenes that she's had all season. But number 3 WTF, this was a lot of fun. I haven't even started to torture you yet. I was really hoping we get to see at least a little bit of that torture, because he definitely deserves to be tortured now. But Diggle pulling the gun on Oliver is definitely not going to win him some fans. The producers did explain, and they kind of already tipped their hat to it in the teaser for the next episode, Diggle, more than Oliver, is guilty over Laurel's death. He blames himself in a way that Oliver doesn't do anymore. They've already had that scene after the funeral where Oliver's like, I don't blame myself. Diggle does not have that moment. He definitely blames himself and goes super dark apparently, at least for a couple of episodes. Number 2 WTF, Cry Havoc and let's slip the Dogs of War, also slipping an arrow into Laurel's body. Kinda sucks that it had to be one of Oliver's arrows. So now Damien Dark has the idol, he's completely repowered, and Dark remains a man of his word as he says to Laurel, which is kind of a freaky thing to say as you're killing someone. So we gotta say it totally sucks that they killed the Black Canary, but I am really happy that they stuck to their guns because as he says, part of Quentin's deal was that if he betrayed Damien Dark, he'd kill Laurel. Quentin betrayed him, so Laurel's dead now. Pretty simple. But the problem is that a lot of people will want Quentin to be punished. You could look at this a number of different ways. He's going to have to live with his daughter's death. Number 1 WTF is actually like the first part of his punishment, in that he doesn't get there in time to see her before she dies. And we also got to talk about the promise that she extracted from Oliver. But Quentin, what is he going to do now that Laurel's dead? I mean, he's still going out with Felicity's mom, so she might help him a little bit, but he's already a really dark person to begin with. Is he going to start drinking again? If someone else does not punish him the way he feels like he deserves to be punished for what he's done, he will find a way to punish himself. But because he's a cop, this is a superhero show, he might also go the Diggle route and just get super hardcore. What about that promise that Laurel gets out of Oliver? What was that all about? Because they cut away, we didn't hear it. There's a couple ways to think about it. One, it's more of a metaphorical promise, like, promise me that you won't go to the dark side, you won't start doing things like Damien Dark would do them, you're not going to start killing people again. The other option is that it could be some secret that's going to help Oliver take down Damien Dark for good without having to kill him. But in all the flash forwards we've seen after the funeral, Oliver's like, I know what I need to do now. I need to kill him. And even Felicity is like, you need to kill that son of a bitch. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about the death, even knowing that Laurel Lance is going to exist on Earth 2? We'll see her in flashbacks. So technically she's dead. She's not gone completely. They haven't fridged the character. And what do you think that Laurel's promise was? Just to talk about the episode on a technical level, I feel like they paced it really well. It was really kinetic, the energy was high, they kept the momentum, there weren't any weird scenes that dragged the momentum down. I feel like if they could get to the point where all the episodes of Arrow could move this way, it would be perfect. Really like the last scene between Oliver and Laurel where she's like, I'm not the love of your life, but you're always going to be the love of my life. Nice hat tip for earlier times before Oliver went and had sex with half the women on the show. And if you're a big comic book fan, it's a nice hat tip to that too. But I will say, for people that are just super pissed that she's killed off the show, they killed the Black Canary, you can't have Green Arrow without Black Canary, that's kind of a literal interpretation of where some of the comics have gone. Not all the comics, but a good portion of them. I'll say that this version of Laurel Lance was never really the comic book version of Black Canary. For me, she was always kind of like the Wire version of Black Canary. Not like you would expect on The Flash with like, full-on comic book personas and metahuman powers. Speaking of which, Earth 2 Laurel Lance will be way closer to comic book Black Canary, although that won't technically be her name. She'll be called the Black Siren, but I'll totally explain what's going on with that during my Flash bonus video. And they did say they would probably do an episode in the future where Oliver meets Earth 2 Laurel Lance, but it won't happen this season. He's not going to be in that episode of The Flash that Laurel's going to be in. But just to reiterate, the producers did explain pretty extensively about why they chose her to be the one to die off. They were really just looking for the character that would provide the most WTF for their characters and drive them forward going to season 5. It had nothing to do with behind-the-scenes politics or any crazy things like that, so don't believe that there are any conspiracy theories about why Laurel was the one to end up in the grave. But I almost forgot in all the craziness, there is a new round of the DC giveaway this week. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. It's just a $20 Amazon gift card. It'll be open till I post my last DC video this week, so hopefully that'll make you feel a little bit better. I could probably spend the rest of the night talking about, what Arrow did tonight, but I've already kind of fried my voice. While you guys wait for my next video, you can click here for the Star Wars Rogue One teaser, and you can click here for my Civil War behind the scenes video. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.